Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of Stage 5 of Flat is Fast in the ZRacing Series. We're on the Greater London Flat for a little bit of a lead-in and one loop. Dave Towle sat next to me. I'm Nathan Guerra. How's it going, Dave? Happy Monday.
Doing great. Yeah, really. Hey, good to see you, Nathan. Extremely exciting weekend at Metier there in Seattle. So one of the best weekends I've had in a long time. So yeah, it's good to be back, though. Flat is fast. That's what they say. So let's get it on.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Let's jump right down into it as the A men have jumped out on course, and it looks like we've got 87 starters for the A men. Looks like we've got some cool power-ups actually out here today. I think we do have invisibility and draft that we're going to be looking at. I'm excited to see how these end up playing out. Invisibility is going to make things, a little bit more, perhaps some breakaways that people could be jumping out onto. Having that drafting power-up, though, also going to make the sprints and trying to get away a little bit more difficult. Kind of a couple of power-ups that might negate each other a little bit.
That's a good point, actually. It is true, though. I mean, if you want to start a breakaway, the ghost is helpful. There's no doubt about it. Gives you a little bit of a head start. As they say, give me 3 steps, mister. You kind of get those 3 steps before they notice that you're rolling off of the front, or 3 good hard pedal strokes out here. So Greater London Flat, Nathan, under 100 meters of climbing, over, let's call it 17K of racing. So more or less it is really flat out here. Today we have a chance to look at as we're wrapping up January here. It's been a great month of racing. This group in particular has been really fun to watch. You never know what you're going to get for the ultimate outcome. Some of the big hitters are here. You always kind of anticipate a sprint. There's going to be that collection of monsters that make in the neighborhood of 14 watts per kilo in that sprint. So you can expect some fireworks in the finale. But with the Ghost power-up, Nathan, I think that I would not be counting on seeing any kind of group sprint today, to tell you the truth. Even though this course completely suits that, the way these racers race, they really get after it, and they certainly don't just wait around for the finale.
Yeah, that's true. Looking around now, though, it does seem like very Cupro Compacto. I think everyone's looking forward, most likely, to the reality that is the little punch as they head into the square in London that will take them on over to the Mall. It's a pretty short course out here in some ways, Dave. I mean, we do have now, as they are going to be doing the classic course, but instead they're going to head out into those Greater London Flats. So they're going to take on the Mall, and then there's going to be a right-hand turn they're going to take over toward what we call the residential area that we have out on Zwift, I would call it, perhaps. There's going to be plenty of flats over there they'll be going by. And then there's a little punch out of not an underground, but a little bridge that they kind of go under. And then from there, it's an all-out boogie to the line, I think, with about 1 or 2K to go. A little bit of push off the front, though, here, as riders start getting going. As we do see this, I think that's going to be the lead-in into the climb that's coming up here pretty quickly.
It'd be interesting, Nathan, to use a reverse ghost where you let a split, John Verm up on the front, but let a split happen in the middle of the group. If you positioned a couple of riders who both put a ghost up and then sat up, what would that do? Right? Would you be able to create a split 8, 10, 15 riders back in the group? Or at least to force them to chase or close down some gaps here, put pressure on riders. You're really looking for anything that you can do out here to have an impact, to give you a better chance to win this race. This is a rider who's come on strong out here. I'm looking at, you and Dow's today. Kirkfield, the Dragon, certainly going to be one of the absolute monsters. But Nathan, it's going to be interesting with the Ghost power up to see, like, there you go. That's a perfect example of those few good pedal strokes that you get in before they're hopefully recognizing that you've got a gap. Other riders jumping up. So yeah, this is spicy, to say the least, out here right now. And Nathan, this is one of the sectors that you've got a little something to work with. About 3.5K to 4K into this course, you can see the gradient going up to 5%. So a little bit of a launching pad right here.
Yeah, Kirkfield now making a move. Fine. It was good to see the first initial kicks coming from Stolzmo. One of the riders I've actually been racing with quite a bit. as he is really one to be watching out for for a breakaway, maybe not the sprint. Stern now coming over the top here out of Italy, it looks like. Real quickly, Dave, as it starts to heat up a little bit, let's go ahead and take a quick look at what the current standings are for the Z Racing when it comes to this A category. We'll jump across to the Bs in a little bit here. Ian Dow's at the top. Carlos Flores is going to be signing Stolzmo. I think he's going to be trying to keep things pretty fast because he is usually challenging for the top spots on time. And since this is timed over all of the stages, he's going to be trying to keep that pace as high as possible. Our buddy Charles McCarthy's there. Also, just a few seconds off of Ian Dow, as it looks like. EP is here. Anders Broberg at 6th place. A friend at 7th. It's going to be Jan Bauer in 8th place. Dan Groom. And then Milan Kohutek there in 10th place. That's our top 10 in the Z Racing standings right now for the A categories. A little bit of a split already happening here, Dave, with 87 starters. They are bringing it back, but things can get strung out. And with a little bit of a downhill as they hit the mile, that red carpet with Groom pressing the pace at the front. Anybody going over the top here, Dave, we could see a serious split. There's a lot of opportunities here on this course.
I'm starting to feel that is going to happen. To tell you the truth, Nathan, with this aggressive racing that we're looking at now, I say Ingo Reichardt, the German superstar in this field, coming in a little bit under my radar here. So this is going to be quite a race, no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, grab some popcorn and buckle up because here we go. So part of the reason that you want to keep this pace high is you can race multiple times throughout the week in this stage. This is stage 5. What Nathan was showing you was the GC, the classification times after 4 races. But what's unique about this is that you can come back multiple times, try to find a faster group, and this is actually, I shouldn't say that. This has been one of the faster groups traditionally. The broadcast doesn't hurt, that's for sure. But when you look at the caliber of the riders that we've got, and Nathan, really the story here is what's happening in the back third of this group. You can see multiple gaps opening up, and that just tells you they are really, really putting their foot on the throat of this race right now.
Yeah, and Groom only at 126 beats per minute, calming down at 4.03 watts per kilogram. So I think he's really trying to bring his heart rate down perhaps at this point after a little bit of a push off the front. Looking at the front, though, Jean Verme was just making a little bit of a press. So I think they are kind of working together to keep this pace as high as possible. This is a great section, actually, to make a move here. As it's a little bump, 1% gradient, as you can see, 51 kilometers per hour. If you take a jump at this point, you can take full advantage actually of the calm down from that. So there's speed, and a lot of times from that falls flat really downhill though. You can actually roll through the pack at this moment, and then because the pack is forced to slow down around this 180-degree turn, and then if you jump out of that, a lot of times you can find a little bit of wiggle room to work with off the front here. We'll see if anybody actually makes a move. Now, one of the mistakes that sometimes people make is that they jump into the corner, and you don't actually carry a whole lot of speed with you when you jump through the corner. A lot of times I'll really, really slow down right here and then jump again. Not slow down, but I'll stop. I won't completely stop pedaling, but I won't attack into the corner, because you ever notice that when you're in a corner, there's only so much speed you can actually take through it? Well, Zwift actually does something along those lines where it slows everyone down to about the same speed. And then as you can see here, you can punch on out as Groom is doing just that.
Well, that's the name of the game in criterium racing in America, certainly, is the reacceleration out of every corner. And that's a good example of that as we take a look at the group stringing out. Now, I don't know that anybody necessarily is going to be attacking through here, but look at this, completely single file at the front. So, yeah, they're definitely elevating. You can see now some of the bigger names. So Dan Groom sitting up in the top 10. Almost Ewan Dow's is certainly one of the riders to beat. There's going to be the wild cards jumping in with this group. I didn't see Ingo Reichardt's name in that top 10. He's most likely out here to win a bike race today, looking at this as a standalone event rather than part of the series that most of these riders have been participating in. So there's a couple different angles that they come at this one with, but this is one of the riders that, Nathan, the thing about moving up here is that you can't keep getting group times. You need to find a few seconds, which really should animate this this race is there's a handful of riders here that if they could get 5-second advantage on this peloton at the end of the race, that would move them up significantly in the GC. That is much, much easier said than done, however, as this is an attentive group. It's interesting when you look at all of the dynamics that are coming to play out here in London today, Nathan.
It is, and as you can see, RT Kaboom making the dynamics happen, that's for sure. As he's off the front, pressing the pace now, and this could be a dangerous move for the rest of the pack. This guy can handle a whole lot of watts for quite a good period of time. Thiago now responding, though. Kirkbeard is going to be Van Hein from Talent Frey, also out of Germany, making a move to come across here. Ian Dow's just going to keep marking things, because Dow's one of the strongest sprinters we've seen in this A category across Z Racing for quite a long time. As we hear the downtown sounds of London, plenty of bells kicking off here just now. It must be around noon, Dave.
Yeah, there you go. Svein Stolsmo, the Norwegian rider, Nathan. I have a feeling he's got something up his sleeve out here as well. There you go. You can see him right up near the front. I have a feeling that Svein is going to be a big part of this conversation at the end of the race. I mean, if you look at all of these names that are riding up near the front, it's only a matter of time until they get the right combination for that attack. Voigt is out here. I should say Volt is the way that you'd be pronouncing that name correctly in Germany. Another one of the Dragons showing up, maybe to offer some support for Kirkfeld out here today.
It's a good call, actually. I think that the Dragons most likely do have a good support system out here, because they do focus in on this Z Racing. That's for sure. We've also seen them in the Zwift Racing League last Tuesday. Very present. So always a team that's really actually formed specifically around Zwift Racing in this last year. It's been great to see the Germans showing up and being a good part of this community. We do see Oric there from OMG on the far right-hand side. USMES, though, now to the front with B. Martin.
All right, little bit of backing off right now. We've seen this race surge. It's really been swinging back and forth on that pendulum of effort. But right now, Ewan Dow's, Nathan, right there on the front, the INC rider, is absolutely the man to watch at this point now. Comes in as a strong favorite to win the series. It's interesting, too, Nathan, that if this group isn't fat, because I don't feel now that we look at them coming through the middle part of this race, this has not been insanely fast. It hasn't been an easy ride, but we've seen this group clip along quicker.
Yeah, it's true. It does feel to me a little bit, though, Dave, like they are working together, interesting enough. Phone heading to the front here. And, Dave, I think the reality of being on the final stage has something to do with that. I get the sense that these riders know that this is going to be one of their last chances at getting the fastest time you possibly can for this stage, and they're just pulling through at 5 to 6 watts per kilogram, Dave. I really do think that there is on their minds, let's get this, let's not be attacking each other through here. Keep the pace as high as we can. If we can drop people, great. But it does look like it's definitely going to be a Grupo Compacto, almost team time trial.
So if you look at it, Nathan, for all of these guys, and it does look like there's a rider coming up to the middle of the group, maybe in a timeout, just repositioning. But it does, Nathan, look to me like just about every rider in that top 10 was here, meaning that they basically neutralize each other as far as most likely they're going to get the same time, unless one of them, there's Dan Groom's name popping, unless one of them is able to do something exceptional and eke out a couple of seconds. That's the only way you're going to move up the GC table out here. So when we take, I mean, at this point, Nathan, we've had a good chance to get a feel for the names that are in this event. Any way we could look at that top 10 on the stage or the GC one more time, just to get a feel for who could steal a couple seconds, because that's really what this is going to come down to today, looking at this entire peloton now. So what really the story is, Carlos Flores is not here. I have not seen his name pop yet, which tells me that he didn't take the start. Unless you can find him, Nathan, I think that he's the one guy now with so Svein Stolsmo will be looking to move up unless Carlos Flores can race later in the week or in a different group. I shouldn't say that definitively, but I feel pretty strongly that Carlos Flores is the one rider not in this field. So and I haven't seen Charles McCarthy's name either, Nathan. So about half of these guys on this list are in this field. They would benefit themselves greatly to all work together and rally the other riders in this field to push and just keep a faster average speed for this group, that gives them a better chance of moving up on the table.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Ian Dowes is the one that gets the biggest benefit out here today, though, if they do keep things plenty fast. I wonder if he's got some innovation buddies, though, because as you can see here, you're right, Dave. It's really calmed right on down to the front, and this is not what we've usually seen. Now, we are seeing, it looks like, Brownie now starting to make his way toward the front here. Very strong rider. Been racing him a lot, actually, in the KISS 100 as of recently. So perhaps a little bit. Also, Jagger here now, you can see this. Here we go now. A little bit of a press on the front. This is a rider that can really keep the pace high, coming out of Germany, 6 watts per kilogram, and I think he is going to be thinking about Ian perhaps because some of these other, you get out here, these other stages, well, not stages, but races in this stage throughout the week, they are a threat for sure. And if it's calm like this, Dave, they are going to be thinking in the back of their head, is this a wasted effort? You show up to race, and then it's like, well, we already did that. How many times can we do flat as fast?
Well, I'm going to say, Nathan, that a lot of these guys realize they're going to have to come back and race again and look for what's going to be another fast group because this one probably isn't going to have enough juice. Ewan Dowes now, for him, really, at this point, I would just make sure I finish in the front group to tell you the truth and then look and see where the chips may fall after this 17 kilometers of racing. We're down to 4K to go. And for all intents and purposes, Nathan, there's a couple little kickers here. You've got a little to work with if you're going to attack out of this group. But ultimately, Nathan, at this point now, not to throw a wet carpet over the fire, but even if you attack out of this group and get a couple of seconds, that finishing time might not be fast enough to move you up in the GC, right? So you really are reliant upon the entire peloton out here in this format, which is completely cool in so many ways. But unfortunately, it might be backfiring on this group a little bit. They're not slow, don't get me wrong, but I think that this group could do more.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dave. I do want to, now as it has calmed down just a little bit, I am going to quickly highlight here the B category and their times. We do have the B category up and running as well. No attacks just as of yet that have gotten away in the B category, but 1 second there at the top. Quickly, let's go through these top 10 as we get into the back end of this race for the Bs as well.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. So, this is a great example between the Norwegian Marius Fulside and Niklas Alkvist. This is a 1 second separation. So may the draft be with you is right, Marius. Good luck out there. Dan Manolo is 7 seconds back from second, 8 seconds back from the win out here. That's the B's third, Dan Manolo. Dark Knight in fourth, Ben N in fifth. It's P.A. Pedersen in sixth, Scott Mossop in seventh, Henrik Grunberg in eighth, Philip Patzer in ninth, and then Christian Langendetter in 10th. And it is 31 seconds separating first to 10th.
It's a good little look here at the B category. In the C categories for the men, it's going to be James Stevenson, followed up by Stefan Hugsegems. It's going to be Peter Backlund, Frederick Aiden, AAC, 2 AAC Swedish riders there, actually, third and fourth. James Bont there in fifth. Peter Graham from the Rhinos in sixth. Lee Thompson from Backpedal in seventh. Kevin Taylor, ART. It's going to be Tito Tellefson from Coalition and Bob Truswell in 10th place. Not much separation there as well. These riders definitely chasing this, Dave, at 2:05.19. 6 seconds between first and second right now. That is the situation for the C's. We'll get into the D category in a little bit here. These attacks, not really getting anything going here. I do see there may be a couple riders up the road. I'm getting an odd fourth place showing, but it might be a bug on my end. I don't think there's anybody up the road, actually, but we are getting the attacks in the A category, so we're going to jump back on over there before we head back to the B's. There's going to be Kirkfield, who made a move into the downhill. Now they're into that uphill we were talking about, Dave. Only about 2 or 3K to go here at this point as Groom comes over the top, Dave. This is all about draft and go here at this point. There's little rest and reprieve on these little punches. It's going to be one more punch to the top, and then it's all downhill into the flat here from there.
Yeah, you can feel the elastic stretching out in this group as we wind it up. We're down to about 1.5 kilometers of racing remaining. There are no time bonuses at the finish, so it's going to be an all-out gallop here, expecting at least one attack. Mafa Tarak there. Watch out for the Algerian as Mafa moving up. The Wahoo Lacole rider is definitely a danger man here.
Yeah, definitely be on the watch out for Tarek now. Wahoo Lacole showing up on the day. Great to see. Loving the kit as well. And he's sitting in second wheel. Smart rider, savvy rider for sure. ESRT now making the way forward here. It's going to be Stir there, the Italian. Be on the watch out for him for the sprint. Where's Ewan Dowles? Look at where he's sitting. You can always see that innovation sitting about 10th wheeler, so kind of getting into that right churn, isn't he, Dave?
Ewan Dowles, Nathan, absolutely. He comes in as a rider with a tremendous amount of experience, motivation. He's the full package, no question. He's got the most to lose out here as well. Although, remembering now that they might have to come back and race later, this is just going to be a sprint to the finish, no question. I have to look at Ingo Reichardt, Nathan. He hasn't been with us much in this flat as fast throughout January, but he is always going to be a threat. So here we go, down to it now. This is the business end. This is going to be Hughes, the Rhino rider that we're looking at. So there's Ingo sitting about 12 riders back. He's got a lot of draft to serve. Kirkfeld, the Dragon, also right there. Ewan Dowles from the United Kingdom. He's the man to beat in this group. He's been the king, racing in his backyard. Nathan, we are locked and loaded. This is not a drill. Nice Ghost power up right there. Who's making
McCarthy.
This play? That's some good
McCarthy.
Zwift.
He's been hiding this whole time. We missed him. Charles McCarthy now makes the move. He's got the invisibility power up, and hopefully the stream isn't too quick for him there, actually, so he can get away, because they know now 191 beats per minute now. Charles McCarthy, I was going to say the sneak away is possible here. Here comes Kaboom. RT Kaboom with the lead out. McCarthy, though, with the inside line as well. He's got to take this all the way to the line. They start the ramp up, though, Dave. It's almost impossible with the speed from this pack. Great move from Charles McCarthy. RT Kaboom trying to come through. Kirkfield with the right-hand side of the field. Can he take it down? Ewan Dowles, perfect timing. Perfect timing. No, Reichert. Reichert comes on through. Leeson. What? Where did Leeson come from? Joachim Leeson out of nowhere. Didn't even know he was in the field. And, of course, the PO Auto rider takes it down with the show-up out of nowhere. Joachim Leeson, where has he been all season? Well, hiding in the back, it seems.
Wow. Well, and that's exactly how you do it. If you're a massive talent like Joachim Leeson, you certainly don't want everybody to realize you're there. He sneaks away, pickpockets that win. Those were some huge names.
Dave? Where did he suddenly come from? Oh, here they are. Now, there was a little sneak away off the front. I don't know where these guys suddenly showed up from, Dave. Did they use an invisibility power-up all at the same time and then sneak off the front and just weren't seen? Because there was something going, or did everybody in, I need to know if everyone in the pack saw these guys off the front. But Mossop, Swanson, and Snowy here all got away. They're going to win this race outright, Dave, unless that pack starts ramping things up.
Well, this is still going to be close, to tell you the truth. Again, we're now just picking up our B finale here, our open Bs, 3 riders together, Mossop, Swanson, and Snowy. Nathan, I'm going to say they're in with a much 80% chance, even better than that, is Swanson now attacking up and over the top. So this 3-rider group now cooperating like the Donner Party, everybody trying to get there. Swanson now, little bit of a gap. Let's see if Snowy and Mossop are going to close this down. Mossop's had an incredible January so far. I think he's still the rider to beat out of this 3-rider group.
Yeah, Mossop in the right spot, it looks like. Right spot, right timed. A lot of times what it's all about, Dave. And here we go. Mossop now up and over the top with 8 watts per kilogram. Swanson still at the front, though. He's got the speed here. Will there be another kick coming from Cole now, coming quickly from the back? But Mossop now, it's going to be another kick from him. There it is, Dave. 8 watts per kilogram. I think he's got this one.
Command performance. He knew exactly what he was doing. It's still not over. At 200 meters to go, there is a charge coming from Snowy. Then Mossop realizes he's got to double his effort. He's just going to get there, or is he? Oh, wow, Snowy. Absolutely awesome effort there.
Oh, my gosh. And the pack coming to swarm can't do it, though. It looks like they are going to do the top 3. Swanson just holding on behind Alkvist. Toby Manalo was there as well. We'll look if we can get a replay on that one in just a moment. But, what a move by Snowy. Well, that was really class act from Snowy.
Yeah, really. What a monster sprint he's got. That went back and forth there in the finale. Great job by those 3. Even creating that breakaway and going to show you that the Ghost power-up can be really effective. So interesting. I am just hearing, Nathan, that Carlos Flores had a power drop out during the race. So he did take the start.
No, he had a crash or something I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, but ultimately, that might not be the worst news. I have a feeling a lot of these guys who are worried about their top 10 spot in the GC are going to have to come back and race again.
We're forcing you. You got to come on back. I like
If you want to, I don't
it.
think that time is as fast as they like.
Yeah. It's a good call here. Well, a little bit of push from Connell here from TFC, Dave. Another, this is interesting, and I like what they're doing here. And this is going to be a lesson for everybody that's doing this stage for the rest of the week, that you can sneak away on this course. A little bit of punch up over the top of that climb. You take that roll through speed onto the downhill, and if you attack on 1K to go, Dave, there's a good flying chance here over and over again with the downhill speed onto the mile. It can work.
Charles McCarthy deserves a ton of credit. That was the move of the month, to tell you the truth. It didn't quite make it, but Charles, that was
Did you
fun
just
to
make
watch.
something up, Dave? Move of the
Move
month.
of the
Did
month.
you really just do that? Did you
Yes,
really
I
just
did.
say move of the month? Oh man, that's just too good to ignore. Chat, let us know.
I
Do we
like
need
that.
a move of
Yeah.
the month? I think we do.
But
But
we'll
Dave,
watch.
that's
but
a pretty. We got to have some, we got to really keep track, because we can't just be the last stage of every month, right? Like all the time,
No.
it's always the move of the month on the last day.
No, you're right. You got to keep a running tab of that and then review
yeah.
it at the end of the month. But I obviously, one of the things I learned with Neil Freyette was absolutely, in our community, there's certain real stars. I think Neil's one, as well as Charles McCarthy.
Here we go. Nunez. It
Nunez.
looks like, is he going to hold on? Bond, 5 seconds. Dave, they're coming quick.
This is going to be right to the line. You've got to love the effort it takes to hold on out here. Let's see if he can pull it off. I think, oh boy.
Here
It's
comes
gonna be
Bond.
tough.
It's going to be too late.
Yep.
No, it's going to be too late. Here we go to the line. Thompson from backpedal. Going to be able to do it, but there's a lot of flyers coming on through, and it's going to be Dub. No, it's not. Thompson from backpedal takes it right on down. Whew.
Boy, I hate seeing that draft power up being used when there's no one to draft, right? It's only effective when. Just saying.
Oh man. Well, I mean, there's just sometimes you just, do I have anything I can do? Like it's it's that last moment
I'll take
of
the placebo effect.
what
Actually,
can I
to tell you
get
the
right
truth.
now? There's so much pain in my legs. I totally get it. I've done it before for sure. So, Dave, real quickly, let's take a look at where the standings are for this as these D riders start to ramp things up into their K to go. The D riders current situation here, it is Peter Silva at the top, John Levin followed up by Joris Israel. They're all here and they're battling it out, but there's a pretty big gap between them here at this point. Dave Grindle, Toby Moore, Casey Park, Adam Monk. It's going to be Fran Mancha and Alistair van der Weijl. So Peter Silva here, NTS, I think he's trying to keep the pace high toward the front.
Yeah, he's the one guy that really can't lose. And with the way that this group is today, unless another group rides this course of a full minute faster, he's in really, really good shape. And this is Sleva that we're with now. So he doesn't need to win this race, or he just wants to finish in the front group, which he's consistently done. Here comes the Canadian Park, Nathan. Watch out now as it looks like they're setting up their finale. We're down to just over, we'll call it 1 kilometer and a little change.
I like these guys. I like their panache here, a little press, and it's going to be the Zwift crushing daddies. You recognize this kit, don't you, Dave?
Oh,
and
yeah.
ZCD. Didn't you meet these guys in real life?
Early days, Nathan. That's the very, very first Zwift event I did back in 2017. They were there. So, yes, absolutely. And I love seeing them still really, really in full effect. It's nice to see these legacy teams that remain extremely relevant. Look at the regrouping at the front. These Ds always race their hearts out, and it looks like another attack coming up and over the top, Nathan. This one's going to sting.
Schmitz now, and here, Dave, they took a big risk. That was a lot of energy to be used there toward the end of this race, and I don't know if they're going to have, I think they got to pay for that, that's for sure. The tanks are going to be fairly empty now at this point. Levin, no, Lighten there as well. The Belgian rider now coming on through, resting up, though. He goes to the front, down, backs right on down to 0 watts per kilogram. Seeing the writing on the wall here, perhaps a little bit, that he's too far up. Jay Juke's now looking to juke everybody. As she heads to the front, I'm thinking here, but it's going to be Israel NTS, one of the top riders in the overall standings right now, just lining things up, looking for a podium. As we're going to have, this is going to be the first just straight up group sprint. There's been a try at the 1K to go or so marker, or even earlier, over and over again, but they're just going to line this one up.
Yeah, and right now, name of the game here is who's kept their TSS low and is able to, I mean, you really want to start your sprint, Nathan, somewhere near the middle part of this group to be able to use the draft. Hopefully, if you can get someone else to launch like they're doing right now. Here we go. Good look at the anatomy of the final as it has started. So the gauntlet has been thrown down. How about Wilmshurst here? This is a big hit out.
Yeah, Wilmshurst now with the kick. Lead out, though, it looks like it's going to be a Silva punches through at 10 watts per kilogram. Drafting power up is activated to see if he can get anything if someone comes on through, but he might just be leading all the way to the line. But it's, I thought perhaps there, Dave, he was going to get caught, but no, Dabbert's not going to be able to do it as Sliva does it again from NTS. Not too shabby, not too serious. We don't believe you anymore, Sliva.
That ship sailed on believing you.
At this point, this is serious. It just got real serious. Oh, man. Good stuff there coming on in from NTS. Always good to see them.
So there's got to be a funny saying there for the Czech rider. I think it's that Czech cashed at the finish line for Peter that time. Didn't bounce on him. I guess we'd have to go back and look at the results, but he's my winner, at least by eye at this point. So, and also he's got to be pretty happy with the way the season has progressed here. Well, I should say the month of January. So good job by Peter Sliva, our D champion. Well, actually that hasn't been confirmed yet, but good job, Peter.
See if we can grab a quick little replay of how things played out here in our A category. A category there is Kirkfield flying now at this point, right to the line and able.
Joachim, though, huh?
Joachim.
It's been a while.
What? Yeah, I haven't seen Joachim. Where did he come from? I actually want to see if we can back this up just a little bit, everybody, because I've not seen Joachim Leeson. I was actually just thinking about him the other day. Like, where has this guy been? Because I've had to race him so often, actually, and it's been really quiet from him.
Yeah, he's been on the podium at the 2020 World Championships. He's been part of, I would call PO Auto the most effective team time trial squad that I've seen in racing history on Zwift, to tell you the truth.
Look at Kirkfield.
Still not on the screen.
No, where did he come from?
You're going to be looking for a light green.
There he is, 13 watts per kilogram. 13 watts per kilogram. Perfect timing. Joachim coming through. Is that it? Right there in the middle of your screen there. Flying through. I was over to Ewan Dow's. Now here, Dave, this is like, as you said, on World Championships, has been on the podium. And Dave, this is a whole new level that suddenly shows up on a Monday, I think, amongst this crew. Like, whoa, okay.
Well,
this is well timed here from Leeson for sure.
You know what I'm thinking, Nathan? It most likely this might have something to do with Zwift games as well. We're starting to see some names like that.
Good call.
Yeah, reemerging. I mean, look at the difference in his 15-second power, folks. I mean, 13.7 after a pretty hard run, and the only rider really comparable was Ingo Reichardt, who I actually thought was going to win, Nathan, at one point. Ewan Dow's for second, Kirkfield for third, Ingo fourth, Svein Stolsmo, the Norwegian, in fifth, Ajay Nasset in sixth, Jan Bauer for seventh, RT in eighth, Mads Flashberg in ninth, and then JY, James Young, in 10th. But we'll have to see if they come back and race again later in the week, or if that time of 23:03 was going to work for them. All right, so that's our A's.
We made a promise, right? We made a promise. I'm going to run us
Top
through
30.
the 30.
Good
Thank
job,
you so
Nathan.
much. I'm not gonna not do what we say. I think we have that expectation at this point, right?
Absolutely. Patrick Orrick ends up in 11th as we run through 11 to 20 spots now. In P12, it was Tony Lemler, Jan Moisaxhau in 13th, Tore Medgard in 18th, Mick Bokov in 15th, Francesco Stier in 16th, Bastian Van Een in 17th, Rune Hamann Olsen in 18th, Peter Fohn of the Snooze team in 19th, and Jason Aiello rounds out your top 20. But, folks, we're not done. We promised the top 30, and Nathan always delivers with Ingvar Carlson in 21st, Dan Groom in 22nd, Maf Fatarik in 23rd, EP for 24th, Charles McCarthy with that late race break holds on for 25th, Gunnar Hestad in 26th, Brian O'Brien in 27th, Fabian Zerozit in 28th, Anders Broberg for 29th. And then rounding out our top 30 for the A's here on Greater London Flat, the 5th race in this weekly stage race series, it was Rob Hughes in 30th.
Dan Groom, I just want to point out that guy does work on the front and then ends up a lot of times not there in the sprint. I think he's always trying to maybe get a break to go. But this guy is a workhorse of the A field on a Monday for sure. Nice job out there, Groom, pushing it. This is the move from Mossop that was trying to hold off. It was a 3-man group off the front in the B category. And as you can see here, they were going so fast, they ended up going backwards in time. Let's go ahead and see if we can get that go forward there. There it is, as Mossop now kicks. Snowy, the timing from Snowy, and he's still kind of in the draft here. I think that's part of it too.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking in chat, and Snowy definitely had some backers, that's for sure. Again, Mossop has been phenomenal, but that is how you do it. I mean, timing has been perfect. As you said, Nathan, surfing the draft, launching through that, and then you're champion for Snowy, the Beast's rider.
Now, Swanson able to hold on for 3rd. This was the battle for 4th place behind. And it looks like Manalo, I think, maybe able to we'll get a look at the results here in just a second. That was a close one for 4th there, Dave.
That's so close
really
that you have
to
look at API. That's an API finish there.
It is.
Nathan,
it
no
is.
doubt.
Oh
right.
Man, Dave.
Snowy.
I thought I would have called Fletcher or Elquist, but it looks like Manalo, Dave.
Right. Well, and there you go. That's why we always have to go back to that, the back end API. Snowy, not only the name of Tintin's dog, but our champion today. Scott Mossop in for 2nd, Callan Swanson in 3rd, Dan Manalo for 4th, Purito Fleca in 5th. The Arrow, it's Nicholas Alquist in 6th, Ben in 7th, Toby, the Zwift Club rider, in 8th, Matthias Thiel in 9th, and then Philip Patzer rounds out our top 10 for the Bees. I bet you're wondering more about 11th through 20th, and here it is. E.K. Loven in 11th, Simon Rigby, Skylab rider in 12th, P.A. Pearson for 13th, Gil Vignosi in 14th, Marius Fosside, 15th today. In 16th for our Bees, it's Douglas Cameron Zerscott. In 17th, Andrew Todd. So it looks like a tie, actually, for 17th.
How rare is that one, isn't it? It's so well.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Dave. We're starting to see this more and more, aren't we? This is pretty. I like it that it's so close that we see this so often lately.
Yeah, and Nathan, that's down to the 1,000th of a second. These ties, that's the same level that they tie the Olympics at. Enough said, right? Andrew Todd and Dammy Streams in 17th.
Did you just call these guys Olympians? Is that what?
Yeah, right. Well, they finished as close as Olympians. Larkin in 19th, and then
Zwift. I'll say it. AZ. All right, I guess we'll leave it at that. AZ. All right, AZ. There we go.
I don't know, but every now and then, Nathan, my filter kicks in. I don't know how to describe that.
How do I turn that on? Chat, help me out. How do I turn that on for Dave? Is there a filter button in production?
You want to leave it on.
There's the boom, Dave filter button. Go ahead, Dave.
Thanks, Nathan. That's going to be Vestin for 22nd. Double zeros in 23rd. Joao Nunes up there today. Good job in 24th. Andy Kroll for 25th. Shores Balkboom in 26th. Emil Lundborg for 27th. Grundberg for 28th. The Fast Life at 29th. And then Simon Hopper rounds out our top 34.
I think those are O's. I don't know. Chat.
I feel like an owl is looking at me.
We're going to have a debate. Now, Andy Kroll, shout out to you, man, coming out of northern Wisconsin. I know that guy. He rides a skateboard pretty well. Yeah, if you see him on Instagram, he can ride a skateboard and a bike. So he's a good guy. I like Andy Kroll. Well, look at this, Dave. Nunez was off the front. Did he hold on to this one? I actually forgot already, Dave. Like, what's going on here with Nunez? I don't think he did, though. Vaughn's coming on strong.
No. Yeah. Because what this is a great example of when you look at these gaps, but you see the speed differential. He's at his absolute limit, and they're just opening up the throttle back there.
There it is. Bont, 8.2 watts per kilogram. Good kick from him. You can see the timing there as he heads into the 200 to go. As I thought Bont was going to hold on to it. Thompson, though, comes on over the top, and he's got the speed. I believe his Dub tried to do it, but unable to come through. Roy actually was the one with the higher speed. Rolled through speed. It would have been better for the timing, perhaps, but it's all about first in line here. As Price, Bont, that's the situation. But no, Thompson holds on as he spins on through. Nicely done there from Thompson. Let's take a look here at the C category results. Top 30, as always, promised. Here it is.
All right, Lee Thompson, backpedal rider. Wanted to shout out Niall Beatty as well. Niall, I did have a great time in Seattle. I saw your comment. Thanks for asking. You should take a trip over to the States. Lee Thompson, backpedal rider on top of the table. That'll put a lot of smiles on faces. That's a very popular team. Matt Roy coming through for second. And I'm wondering if that's the same Matt Roy as the cyclocross mechanic and superstar. He was a mechanic for the Saturn team. I strongly feel it is, looking at that picture, he was the husband, or is the husband of Mo Bruno Roy, who was one of the top American cyclocross racers about 15 years ago. Pete Watkins.
I know all those names, Dave. That's amazing that you're bringing back memories. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, my life is almost a memory at this point now, Nathan. But Gary Price coming through for fourth. James Bont, I hope he owns the shoe company. James, fifth today. Chris Kusel in sixth. Theodore Telfson in seventh. There's bath salts. We've had a lot of blasts from the past today. Bath salts is also one of the OGs in eighth. Unless there's another bath salts that's come along.
Yeah, no,
like
that guy's just
Godzilla
new.
2.
He's just new around here. So,
okay. Sam Bukuk in ninth, and Peter Backlund rounds out our top 10. But at Zwift Community Live, we believe in top 30 for our
for Z-Racing, just for Z-Racing.
Z-Racing only, right? In 11th, it's Lucas. In 12th, it's Pedro Nunes today. 13th went to Lucas Bergqvist. Davide Giovagnoli in 14th. It's James Stevenson in 15th. George Williams for 16th. In our C's, Harry Bull for 17th. Stephen Lomas in 18th. Chad Connell, TFC rider, in 19th. And Trond Solstad rounds out your top 20, but we're not done. In our C's, we've got, there he is, Nathan. You really cracked me up a couple weeks ago with some Gru stuff. And there's Gru in 21st today. Scott Hammock in 22nd, Andrew Le Petit in 23rd. It's Andrea Rotondi in 24th, Alexander Groshens in 25th, Matthew Bauer in 26th, Michael Ascaruns in 27th. It's Rune Granik in 28th, Cully Racer 29th. And in our C's, it's Dirk Barkhorn who rounds out the top 30. So Greater London Flat, the fifth stage, done and dusted, but we still have our D's to look at.
D category coming right up here. This was an interesting sprint as we did have Wilmhurst. Look at this here, Dave. Wilmhurst made that kick you were talking about. It was very Grupo Compacto, wasn't it, though, Dave? Coming out even into this corner, everybody just kind of watching each other here.
Yeah. This is the only real group sprint, that we had, to tell you the truth. The rest of them, they were kind of chasing back tracers out there. But this was the moment that the initiation of the sprint began. And this certainly looked definitive, but in Z Racing, you realize that you got to bring it all the way home. And this group, then, the second surge came.
Yeah, nice little surge here to the line. As it was going to be Sliva, and he is a champion for sure. He's been taking it down over and over again. Good racing, and I do see the chat coming on through, and I agree. It's been great to see.
I think he probably will.
We've what's that? Go ahead, Dave.
And I hope that he does move up to C's. Like he's dominating here in the D's, and it's time to make that step.
I was talking about having some clean racing this week.
Well, me too. Bot-free racing.
Yeah, bot-free racing. We saw the competition. The bot-free racing. So
it's 100% why I don't read the comments.
Well, it's
although
good
the comments
don't get dropped cycling in here, but it looks like he's not following his channel name, as he needed a top 60 for a mention today. What's going on there, Eric? Get your act together there, bud. Look, come on.
Top 60. Yeah.
Sheesh.
I don't know that we're going to be doing top 60s.
I look forward to watching his Z Racing playback of how he got dropped. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he deleted this one already. Good to see him. Good to see everybody in chat this week. You guys are all awesome. A lot of people coming through and commenting. Actually, it's always good to see all of you. Good to see Nathan, Tim Hansen's in here. JD Walker, Peter Sleva. I mean, this is such a great party on Mondays. Great way to get your week started. Go ahead, Dave.
100%. No, and it's a little more casual, right? We can sort of joke around and have a little more fun. And I'm going to share a story. Then every now and then, you'll have the pocket dial situation. And for some reason, I, through one of the messenger apps, was sending Matha Tariq hearts. I have no idea how or why, but he got a couple just random hearts from me, and we laughed about it.
Of course,
it's nice to see him in the chat.
Hey guys, watch out for random hearts from Dave. They'll be in your DMs. Do not take them personally or anything. It's just
don't read anything
Dave
into
hearts.
it. Yeah.
We need some. Oh my gosh, there needs to be some sort of joke in chat about that one. Yeah, we need notifications or who knows what. That's good stuff. That's really good stuff. Well, everybody, that's the start for our week here with it's the final Z Racing for this stage for our broadcast, but you can still do the rest, obviously, for the week all the way through Sunday night, and then we will have a restart, and we'll get it scheduled for the rest of the for the restart here for February. I'm not actually sure what the Z Racing is for February. Should be an update coming at us pretty quickly, and we'll get those all scheduled for the rest of the month for the start of the month of February. Then we have tomorrow, obviously, the Zwift Racing League. We will be covering the B category tomorrow. Well, at least focusing on the B category. We'll see we can have some of the other feeds, but the narrative and the story will be around the B categories tomorrow across all of the zones that we're covering. Those are all already scheduled, actually, on ZwiftPower, as well as the streams are scheduled on our YouTube for all of the Zwift Racing League. If you want to watch our Zwift Racing League coverage, make sure to go hit those notification buttons on those streams. As usual, we do update ZwiftPower as soon as we possibly can. We got a little ahead of it this week, so you can go check out what we're covering right now on ZwiftPower.com. And then Thursday is the wrap. And Dave, it's a little bit quieter this week, actually, but we thought it was going to be quieter. But Sunday, we are deciding that we're going to be having a lead-in race for the Canadian National Championships. It's Canada versus the world on Sunday. If you've been seeing that on the schedule and wondering what it's all about, well, we're going to stream it this Sunday.
It sounds like it should be a hockey tournament when you say Canada versus the world. But
better bring your pads.
You
better bring your pads. Sharpen those skates.
I've seen you out skating with the stick recently with the fam. That's awesome. So, but yeah, I'm really happy, Nathan, that you've been able to create so many relationships and partnerships. And, we had a blast. And the U.S. National Championships were one of the greatest events I feel like we've done through Esports on Zwift Community Live. And let's do the same thing for the Canadians. Time to Canuck up.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. So Sunday we'll be here for that Canada versus the world. The following week, we got Canadian National Championships. We'll also have highlights of all of the Masters racing as well for the Canadian Nationals. So be on the watch out for that. If you haven't done so already, hit those follow buttons, subscribe, comment, like, do all that good stuff. It helps out the channel a ton as we have been live on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. We appreciate all of you hanging out with us on this Monday for the Flat is Fast, and we will see you tomorrow for a full day of racing in the Zwift Racing League. As always, everybody, from Dave and I, we appreciate all of you, and ride on.